Hidden within the hopeless green labyrinth of the Amazon rainforest lies a century-old unsolved puzzle left behind by the great explorer Percy Fawcett. He held unwavering faith that deep within the jungle rested an ancient golden city named Z, and after stepping into the wilderness for the final time he vanished forever into the thick lingering mist. Tonight follow in his distant footsteps and listen to the quiet tale of his lonely legendary journey. Some ancient secrets are destined to remain buried forever beneath dark soil and tangled creeping vines. Percy Fawcett stood as one of the toughest, most heroic explorers of his age when he ventured once more into the darkest heart of the Amazon. Accompanied by his eldest son, he penned a solemn message in his final letters: never attempt to come looking for us tonight. Sit beside the soft glow of the hearth and sink into the lingering echoes of human obsession and unyielding fate. If you have ever heard the distant haunting call of wild untouched wilderness echoing within your dreams, you will understand the restless wandering spirit dwelling deep inside Percy Fawcett. He did not perish out of ignorance. He surrendered his life to an overwhelming longing for the unknown. Driven by his obsession to find the legendary hidden city, he sacrificed the fate of his entire family line. Tonight lay down all your daily weariness and slip quietly into a moist jungle dream following his fading solitary figure. Picture standing beneath the vast ocean-like stretch of primeval green wilderness covering South America, where a lean, resolute British explorer walks steadily toward his inevitable end alongside his eldest son. This man, named Percy Fawcett, is remembered as one of the last great solitary pioneers the world has ever known. Tonight let the soft warm glow of flickering hearth fire stay with us as we wander fully into the untold story of his life. In the summer of 1925 he sent his final mysterious letter to the outside world, writing plainly, I wish for no one to trace our path, for the journey holds unspeakable danger. After that the heavy damp mist of the Amazon descended like a thick velvet curtain, sealing away this tough Victorian adventurer along with the legendary city Z he had spent his entire life chasing into an eternal void. Some claimed he fell beneath poisoned arrows fired by primitive native tribes. Others believed he built his own hidden kingdom deep within the dense wilderness. Yet regardless of what the real truth may be, the name Percy Fawcett remains one of the most touching yet cruel embodiments of human obsession etched into history. Percy Fawcett's destiny was deeply marked by the era he lived in, standing at the fading twilight age of geographical discovery, when the last blank unexplored corners of the globe were slowly being mapped and filled. And born into a modest declining British military family, he carried within his veins the restless untamed spirit of an older vanishing age. His sharp refined features and cold determined gaze always turned toward the vague, gray unmarked regions stretching across old world maps. Through long years of military service and official expeditions commissioned by the Royal Geographical Society, he gradually grew captivated, consumed and absorbed by the mysterious allure of the Amazon wilderness. To him this was no desolate muddy wasteland, but a vast ancient parchment hiding long forgotten memories of ages past. Late into quiet nights by the dim glow of kerosene lamps he pored over ancient handwritten manuscripts left behind by Spanish colonial explorers, their pages filled with vivid descriptions of a complex, highly advanced ancient civilization concealed deep within the dense woodlands of Mato Grosso. Though Fawcett was already advancing in years, the inner fire burning within his heart blazed ever brighter. Fanned by the damp wild winds of the jungle, it became his ultimate affirmation of self-existence. He believed his life would only truly begin if he could lay eyes upon the legendary city Z before his final breath. Exploration was never a romantic leisurely journey, it amounted to years of relentless torment wearing away at both body and mind. Fawcett ventured deep into the jungle countless times, traveling alone or leading small expeditions to mark remote borderlines never before trodden by human feet. Within the Amazon the greatest dangers rarely came from jaguars or giant anacondas, but from microscopic parasites and the overwhelming crushing weight of endless despair. He once described swarms of blood sucking insects clinging relentlessly to his ankles and unceasing torrential rain that wore down the strongest willpower to the breaking point. Yet Fawcett possessed an almost inhuman endurance, capable of maintaining steady measured footsteps even as painful abscesses spread across his thighs. His unyielding stern nature earned him quiet reverence among native jungle tribes, yet widened the growing rift separating him from conventional, civilized society. Upon returning to London he found himself utterly unable to adapt to rigid formal social dinners, his senses permanently filled with the decaying earthy scent of rotting vegetation and his ears echoing with the strange haunting cries of nocturnal jungle creatures. He began to openly declare the existence of City Z, only to face ruthless mockery and dismissal from mainstream academic circles, who dismissed him as a delusional visionary driven mad by jungle fever and tropical miasma. This painful isolation only strengthened his resolve to embark on one final fateful journey, a devastating ultimate sacrifice to his lifelong dream. In the spring of 1925, at the age of 57, Percy Fawcett set out to complete the final sacred ritual of his lifetime. Instead of choosing seasoned professional explorers to accompany him, he brought along his 21-year-old eldest son Jack. Tall, slender like his father and equally captivated by the untamed allure of the wild, Jack stood as the perfect spiritual reflection of Fawcett's own youthful spirit. Together with one of Jack's close friends, the three men vanished quietly into the jungle, carrying only the most minimal essential supplies. This deliberate choice stood as a tragically bold gamble filled with foreboding. He understood full well the deadly dangers lying ahead, yet longed for the pure, unspoiled experience of witnessing the ancient secret undisturbed by outside interference. Along their journey they sent occasional postcards back home, their handwriting weary yet steeped in a quiet sacred calm. In his letters he comforted his wife Nina, writing that they were drawing ever closer to the great hidden mystery, yet at the same time he penned the haunting, unforgettable line, "Never attempt to come looking for us." It read like a solemn prophecy and a final farewell speech, severing all remaining ties with the world they were leaving behind forever. After the last faint wireless telegraph signal faded into silence, Percy Fawcett and his small expedition party never emerged from the jungle again. In the decades that followed, the quest to find Fawcett turned into a deadly competition, with hundreds of volunteers venturing into the Amazon in search of his remains, many losing their own lives in the process. The vast green wilderness of the Amazon seemed endlessly devouring anyone bold enough to attempt uncovering its deepest hidden secrets. Wild rumors spread like wildfire across remote South American taverns. Some claimed Fawcett had been worshipped as a living god among isolated native tribes. Others swore he had discovered an entrance to a hidden underground civilization, and many locals insisted they had seen a distinguished elderly man with pale blue eyes living among a distant indigenous village. Yet all these fleeting tales burned out like faint fireflies in the night, fragile and fleeting, leaving behind only deeper shadow and uncertainty. Modern archaeological research years later indirectly proved that Fawcett's belief in City Z was never pure fantasy. Advanced radar and laser scanning technology revealed traces of vast, sprawling ancient city complexes once thriving beneath the Amazon rainforest, long swallowed by plague, natural decay, and the slow advance of wilderness. Centuries ago, Fawcett was a man far ahead of his time, exploring ancient mysteries on foot long before modern technology, yet he exhausted his strength and life journey long before reaching his destined destination. Percy Fawcett's disappearance marked far more than a geographical tragedy of unfulfilled exploration. It stood as a profound elegy of one solitary soul defying the twists of fate. His entire life seemed trapped in a constant restless anxiety, driven by an inner need to search for something greater beyond himself. He endured the brutal horrors of the First World War, witnessing firsthand the self-destruction of civilized humanity amid poisonous gas and muddy trench warfare. Perhaps to him the irrational, untamed wilderness of the Amazon felt purer, more honest and genuine than the polished, hypocritical streets of London. What he sought deep within the jungle extended far beyond gold relics or forgotten ruins. He chased a hidden new world free from human hypocrisy, greed and violence. Taking his son Jack with him on this final journey was not merely a cruel sacrifice, it bore the quiet, redeeming warmth of a father's love. He wished for his son to witness the pure, magnificent ancient vision he believed existed with all his heart. This lifelong obsession may seem stubborn and irrational to modern minds, yet within the final fading glow of old-world heroism it shone with an almost sacred radiance, inspiring both quiet awe and deep compassionate sorrow. In that final moment when he turned his back to the civilized world behind him, he must have felt an immense weight lift from his soul, settling into quiet, unburdened peace. The Amazon rainforest remains untouched and unchanged to this day. Each evening thick mist rises faithfully to shroud the endless expanse of green. Percy Fawcett's ultimate discovery of his legendary City Z no longer holds any true meaning. What matters most is that he dedicated his entire life wholeheartedly to the dream he cherished above all else. Amid the lonely green wilderness he claimed the highest dignity of every true explorer, merging his own existence forever with the unknowable unknown. The hearth fire has faded to soft embers now, and our gentle story draws slowly to its peaceful close. That lean, solitary figure dressed in worn hunting clothes and carrying a heavy pack fades gradually behind layers of twisting, tangled vines. He need no longer endure sweltering heat, relentless insect bites, or the mocking judgment and eager expectations of the outside world. He lingers now in a quiet, timeless realm beyond our reach, peacefully watching the sunset fall over the golden city of his lifelong dreams. Relax your shoulders fully and let the soft, moist, gentle scent of the jungle drift gently through your dreams, free from fear of the unknown, wrapped only in everlasting tranquil peace. Good night.